Good morning, friends. This is Erica with Aurora Heart Healing today. And today I wanted to do a live healing on myself. This is, I believe, the last day of the full moon. It's October 18th. And last night I did a karmic loop close. And that was a very, very powerful session. This morning I woke up and I had a lot of emotions come up from that session because, as we all know, when we part ways with people, it can come up with a lot of we have to feel a lot of different emotions, a lot of different things throughout that whole process. Well, so today I am just going to do a spirit-led session and giving you a little bit about what it is that I'm doing. I am looking through my different charts, emotions, energies to find what it is that I'm looking for, what it is that I need to release. And those of you that do not know, I am an emotion code practitioner. And as an emotion code practitioner, I find emotions that have not been processed in the body, and I help clear those energies and those emotions. The first one I'm finding is withdrawn. Okay, is this my emotion? No. Did this happen before the age of 36? Yes. 35, age 34, withdrawn age 34, and this is an absorbed 34. And I'm writing all of this down so that people can kind of check out and see what I released, and maybe it resonates with you. Maybe you understand these emotions, these energies, and maybe even gives you a little bit of insight in who I am, what I do, and a sense of vulnerability comes with this as well, because we are sharing during these sessions, we're sharing a little bit about ourselves, and vulnerability can be a little bit hard for some. And I want to teach everyone that comes in contact with me how to be just a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more open. Because when we open ourselves, we're actually creating trust and relationship with others, and our world is in need of that. So withdrawn, this is an absorbed energy, which means I already know where this is coming from because of what exactly who I'm focusing on to clear any other energies that I don't necessarily need in my life anymore. But withdrawn, absorbed, which means it's been sent, or someone behaved themselves in that way and I could sense it, even though they weren't saying anything about it. So withdrawn, absorbed. Is there any other energies or emotions that I need to know about this? Is this, and at this point, I can sense a lot of the different kinds of energies. I'm just looking into, this is a different kind of emotion. Unevolved emotion. So an unevolved emotion. Is this my emotion? This is another unabsorbed emotion, which means an unevolved emotion is an emotion that really hasn't, uh, it's always hard to say this emotion hasn't grown up, but basically it hasn't evolved to maturity as of yet. And when it's my own emotion, I can see and understand how the emotional reaction has not evolved yet. I honestly am not totally sure about how this affects the other person when this is an absorbed energy and emotion, but I like to think that maybe, who knows, that any relationship is any person that's in our lives, it's for a reason. And hopefully I have helped these people evolve themselves in one way or another, even if they are no longer in my life. So frustration, Do we need to know what kind of frustration it is? Just being frustrated, preventing from gratifying impulses, desires, other conscious or unconscious, rendering worthless one's efforts, often causing ego depreciation. Okay, is there anything else that we need to know? Is it another different kind of emotion? Is it an emotion? Is this my emotion? Whenever it's my emotion, I can sense it more into my body. When it's someone else's emotion, it feels more like it's a hovering over my body. Okay, have I passed it? No. Is it here, here? Heartache. My emotion is heartache. Okay. Is there any other emotions? Yes. Here, 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 here. Peeved, pity, pride, rejection. Rejection, heartache, and rejection. Is there anything else? No, no. Nope. Is this everything? Okay. So the absorbed emotion, which is what the other person was feeling, is withdrawn and an unevolved emotion of frustration. What I was feeling was heartache and rejection. When someone withdraws, then we don't have the chance to actually evolve and grow together. It actually stops, stunts the relationship and the growth. And I know from my experience, especially with this relationship, that I felt a lot of pain during it because I felt that I was very much so looking forward, like trying to be positive, trying to be loving. But I constantly was met with rejection, and the other person would withdraw. They would just withdraw. And to a certain extent, my my responsibility in that was to see that this person wasn't willing to really face the very difficult conversations, the deeper, the more substantial things that create a relationship, which is depth and really deep diving into the wounds and into the hurt and the pain so that we can help heal it. There was actually a lot of arguments, especially during this time that I can remember, that were about this person would say, you just want to make problems. That's why you're bringing this up. Well, as women, we actually remember situations emotionally. So if the emotion continues to come up, it's because the problem has not been resolved. And at one point, I remember him saying, well, not everything needs closure. No, not everything needs closure, but if we want a thriving relationship, we do need validation. And I was just not receiving that from this. So this is helping me understand myself a little bit deeper, understand the dynamics of the relationship as well, because the constant withdrawal and the unevolved frustration. So if we're frustrated at the age of 4, it looks different than frustration at the age of 30. And the frustration, the unevolved frustration, we can actually see what age the frustration has stayed at. So I know this person's age. Did this happen before the age of 30, before the age of 10, before the age of 5, 4, 3, 2, age 2? So this frustration has stayed at the age of 2. So when we're emotionally evolving, we're actually able to react more or less mature with an unevolved emotion. Trust me, not saying anyone is bad or anything through this. I've had unevolved emotions. One of my unevolved emotions that I found in the beginning when I first started finding this energy, this emotion, was abandonment, age 4. So I felt as if I was a 4-year-old being abandoned. What exactly does that look like? I would cry when I felt abandoned. I would throw a tantrum when I felt abandoned. I would overreact when I felt abandoned because my unevolved abandoned emotion was at age 4. So what happens when a 4-year-old, when you're a parent and you drop off your child at 4 years old to a daycare they don't want to go to or a babysitter? They have a meltdown. So what did that look like for me? I would have a meltdown. What did that look like for this person? That they were frustrated at age 2. That's what it looks like. And that's what it feels like to them as well. Or myself, not pointing fingers. Okay, is there anything else we need to know? Can we go ahead and clear this energy? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub magnets over my prime meridian to clear this energy. When I'm clearing the energy, I can sense a separation. I kind of feel a little disoriented. Over last night when I did the closing of the karmic cycle with my friend, I could tell I was very emotional this morning, and my throat chakra has been very wonky over the last few days. So if you notice that my voice is different, I'm working through some things there. But yesterday, today, and I believe tomorrow is all about closing old cycles and beginning new ones. And I've been closing old cycles for a while. This eclipse is also the last eclipse in Aries, which I am an Aries. So I am really in this healing stage and ending old patterns, ending old cycles, ending old karma that I do not want to carry and that I've I've really faced, confronted, looked at, understood, and moved forward and past. So next, we're going to see what else comes up for me. Is it here? Here. Okay. 7 main chakras. One near the thymus. So we have 21 minor chakras. This is a blockage near the thymus. So we're going to see what exactly this blockage near the thymus is. And is this mine? This is mine. Here, 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 here. Gaslighting. The energy of gaslighting. Okay. Reacting to conflict by making this the other person's fault and avoiding ownership of any kind always puts the blame on another person. When they cannot put the blame on the other person anymore, they avoid the conversation altogether, wanting or needing them to see it from their point of view, grasping at anything from the other person to prove their point further, will try to make you confused with your thoughts, manipulation of reality. So was I being okay? So this actually created a confusion within myself. Being gaslighted was creating a lot of confusion because there was no ownership of actions and responsibility. Accountability. It really has to be with accountability. How did I contribute to this issue instead of it's all your fault? Did this happen before the age of 36? Okay, so this happened recently. So I'll just put current. I always put current when it's something that you're still kind of going through, or it's something that you've more recently experienced. Is there more? Is it here, here, here? Ah, interesting. The mystical body. So this is, if you are here, you've probably heard about the new earth. This is the new human body that is evolving and growing with this new earth. So this whole situation has somehow or in ways prevented me from evolving into this mystical body that has a higher vibration, a higher frequency. So today I am going to clear some of that energy. Inner child wound emotion. So what emotions have wounded me from childhood? Okay, is it in the definitions? Is it in experiences? Okay, this one, this one, this one. Here, 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 here. Is this one mine? Is this emotion mine? No. Okay, it's not my emotion. Is it here, 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 here? Is this an absorbed? Here, here, here. Contempt. So I absorbed someone's contempt. So they were feeling contemptuous towards me, and I absorbed that energy. Okay. Is there more inner child wound emotions? Is there any other emotions? Is the next one mine? So the next emotion is going to be mine. That was so weird. I could have sworn I felt like prickly stuff all over my skin. That was creepy. It felt weird. Okay. Definitions, wheels, feelings list. Okay. Excuse me. Opening, is it in this one? Here, 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 here. Unsure. Is this a regular emotion? This is an inner child wounded emotion as well. And this one's mine. And I felt unsure. And in all honesty, throughout my whole life, I have felt very unsure about a lot of things. And one of the biggest things that have been a trigger for me is feeling unsure about how another person feels about me. Because I grew up in a home where I was unsure about how my own parents, my own family, my friends felt about me. And there was a lot of mixed signals like, oh, you love that person more, but they were the ones that would give me affection. And then when I was trying to be affectionate, then that was rejected. And then there was affection, but it was inappropriate. And there was just a lot of vicious cycle of feeling unsure. And as an inner child wound emotion, I was wounded by the people that were my caretakers, And they created this unsure feeling within me. Okay. Is there more? Is a different kind of emotion? It's a regular emotion. Is this mine? Okay. It's my emotion. Is it here, 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 here? Frustration. This is my frustration. Frustration. Do we need to know what kind of frustration this is? Nope, just a frustration. Is there any other emotions that I felt? Yes. Loneliness. I felt frustrated. I felt lonely. It's interesting because when I'm thinking about loneliness right now, I felt the same loneliness in the relationship that I do sometimes now, except for now, it isn't because I felt alone in the relationship that they weren't emotionally reciprocating. This loneliness is more of like, no, there's actually not a person there, but it almost hurts less to feel alone when you're actually alone than to feel alone when there's a person that's supposed to not fulfill it for you, but is supposed to be a partner in that. And I think that people feel lonely all the time, even and it's like a disconnection. So right now, when I feel lonely, I'll sing a song or I'll do something to I'll even reach out to friends. I'll go to the gym. I'll hang out with my kids and talk to them, watch movies with them. I'll play a board game with them. I'll do a puzzle. And they're all different ways to connect back to myself. But this one was definitely, it's interesting to see how when you have someone there, they can still make you feel lonely. The other emotion is rejection. And that's definitely, I think, paired in the loneliness of feeling alone and feeling rejected because no matter how much I tried to, hey, like, I literally put my hands out and be like, hey, let's talk about these things that are making tension in our home, or let's communicate. And it just was not being reciprocated. So there was a lot of rejection in that. And we don't usually see it during, but I'm seeing it in retrospect. The next emotion is taken for granted, feeling taken for granted. Feeling treated with careless indifference, not given thanks or recognition for something accomplished, similar to ignored, is a basic need to feel that we are important and we have something worthwhile to contribute to others. So feeling taken for granted with all of what I'm seeing, that gaslighting energy of like, no, this is your fault. Um, which was something that was actually said to me a few times, then it makes a lot of sense that no matter how much I did, I felt taken for granted. I felt rejected. I felt lonely. I felt frustrated. And then this person, um, with their problem of feeling contempt, contemptuous. Okay, anything else? No? Is there any shadow emotions? I could feel like a little darkness. So shadow. And this one, is it mine? Okay, this is my emotion. Definition. Here, here, here. Contempt, creative insecurity. It's really interesting when, first of all, a lot of these things are purity. A lot of these things are being brought to light, but it's, for me right now, it's in retrospect. I'm looking at everything from from like, you know what I mean? In retrospect, I'm seeing it and I'm understanding it and I'm understanding how this affected me. So with this person, I tried so many different ways to communicate. I would say, this is how this makes me feel. And I would like to address this. This is how I think of this. What do you think? There was even times where I was frustrated and I was like, you just don't want to listen to me. I feel like you're not listening to me. And there was all of these different types. I would listen to different podcasts and see and listen to different podcasts about how to communicate with people. This is particularly to my ex-husband, but I would try to find different ways to communicate. And I really feel that I put so much effort in, and no matter how I did it, it was met with contempt and it was met with anger or frustration and that creative insecurity. I remember there was a certain point where I did myself just say, okay, well, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, how can I tell you this? And this was like 2 weeks before the announcement. And I said, I don't know how else to tell you something without you feeling defensive, because I'm really just genuinely wanting to talk to you. And I don't understand why you get so angry with me when I just want to understand you and understand where you're coming from. And that creative insecurity, the unable to risk or feel safe, or using one's power to create originality, feeling like I couldn't express things, everything going unexpressed, it was 100% creative insecurity. I would like watch videos about how to come in like a more open language. And it wasn't just towards him, it was even towards um, people that were connected to him. Because no matter how I would approach things, it was always met with disdain and contempt. And I don't like to say always, but towards the end, it was an always thing. It was like, hey, this would be a really great thing for you to do. And then, or it would be like, hey, can we talk? Can we communicate? You know, this is my perspective. I'd love to hear your perspective. And it was just met with this resistance. And it's sad to see how much this really did affect me. And there was a certain amount of gaslighting that I did not see before. And bringing this up right now, I'm seeing more and more of that pattern. And in all honesty, how did this all play into my childhood? This is all emotions that I felt as a kid. My inner child wounded emotion, feeling unsure. I felt unsure of how to express my wants, needs, desires with without this person being upset or reacting in contempt. And now I see, no matter what I was going to do, it wasn't going to be we weren't matching. It wasn't matching because they're unevolved emotions of contempt. I'm and my unevolved emotion of, where are you at? Of frustration. There's those unevolved emotions, those different things that we're not seeing in the spiritual sense are also playing in a relationship as well. And the more that I look at it, the more that I understand it, and the more that I see, oh, okay, here are all the signs, here are all the reasons why. And now I can release it and never take it to another relationship again. I can't say anything about the other person. I hope that everyone watching or not watching is doing their own personal evolution journey and that they are really diving deep into who they are and how these things can be affecting them. But also, I can only take care of myself. I can only have control over myself. I can only react the way that I choose to. I can only do anything for me. And through this whole thing, I have learned more than anything that I cannot tug someone along on their evolutionary journey. And I am okay with that now. I wasn't before. But looking at how this has affected me and how it's affected my family, I understand no. And that is powerful, I think. This is empowering to see what I was blindsided with, what I wasn't looking at, what I wasn't understanding, what I decided not to acknowledge or unconsciously didn't acknowledge because I wasn't sure, because I didn't know, because we are unaware. It's really hard to be inside of a jar and we can't read the label outside if we're inside of the jar. When we do this type of work, we're actually reading the label on the outside of the jar to know what we have inside of ourselves. Is there anything else that we need to know? Okay, I'm getting that we need to hear a message. Okay, 1 second. Okay, is it in this section? Is it in the next section? Is it here? Okay. Heart's desire. Right use of mind, limitations of the mind, dealing with distractions, being in sacred spiritual space, listening in, group transfiguration, recognizing earth, together we challenge. Okay, together we challenge. Here, together, we challenge these self-limitations placed not only on the self by yourself, but by yourself, by your own limited or negative belief systems, but also all those around you, and by the limited traditions held up by all the societies upon the earth. Step by step, humankind will understand the limited power of a limited belief system. Step by step, humankind will understand the fusion of consciousness and energy. Consciousness and energy will be understood to be inseparable, as is consciousness and matter, and consciousness and everything for that matter. Okay. So, I mean, we are only limited by our own thoughts. Is there another message? I'm just feeling like there's supposed to be another message. Is it in this half? Is it in this half? Is it here? Here? This page, this page, this page, this page, this page. Ah, the next step. How appropriate, since the full moon is about changing and evolving and moving forward. Honor this divine uniqueness within you. Recognize yourselves. Recognize this divinity within you. Honor, listen, and very gently take care of yourself. Take yourself through the door into self-acknowledgement of who you truly are. Include all aspects of your being, all aspects of your life, all aspects of your humanness. You are divinely perfect in your imperfections. And so, as we take the next few steps together in this learning process, enjoy. Give yourself the freedom to test, to choose, to be, to surrender to what is. It is your life. It is your predilection to choose. It'll be in the descriptions. You guys tell me how to pronounce it. No choice is wrong. Every choice simply leads you into the next step. Surrender to what that next step is for you. Leave behind all expectation. Step deeper into yourself and open to what is. And with that, I would love to share my next step is to build, to grow, to lead, to be my most authentic self, to evolve, to deeply love myself more and more with every moment that goes by because I love who I am. I truly love the person that sits in front of this camera in her office space that took blood, sweat, and tears to create, that will sit with each person through their mess and understand and love and be there for anyone that wants to learn how to be vulnerable and that yearns for that vulnerability, to have a safe space to come to or Zoom on. And that is my next challenge, is to share this message, to grow, to build, and to love. With that, what is your next step? I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful next step.